Hey guys, and welcome back to the letter. I left off with Ash just making a ruckus over here. Stupid fucking buzzing. Anyway, I mentioned last time, this one's a less haha episode and actually kind of serious. I mentioned before, but I didn't fully record the audio for I did this an hour ago and I didn't record the audio because I'm a dummy, so we have to do this again. But after this episode, I will be, fresh. I will know nothing. So that's gonna be good. Okay. I read this already. Must be pretty urgent. I'm getting confused with Hana's voice. We're playing as Zach. Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call yet.
Where are you?
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. Sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet. What do you need?
Get your ass here, pronto.
Here? Hold on. Can't this wait until I'm actually awake?
No, Rebecca's not.
His voice hitches, and I fail to catch the last of what he's saying over the sudden racket on the other side of the line. When the noise dies down, however, he does not continue. This abrupt change in his tone, the unexpected hesitance to speak puts me on the edge, and a different kind of anxiety clings to me. Something's wrong.
Here is where, Ash.
Ermengarde Memorial Hospital. ER. Becca's already there. I need to be off somewhere. Just get there. Please.
He drops the call before I can ask more. Maybe it's just me or my sleep-addled brain, but in the short moments he sounded almost as if he's pleading. The thought alone does not ease the lump of dread gripping my insides, already heavy with fear. But despite the questions currently swimming inside my head, I waste no time in getting dressed, the rest of the day's plans and scheduled meetings effectively forgotten. Whatever lies ahead, I hope this ain't one of those times when my intuition is right. Excuse me. The scent of the hospital never did grow on me. Too fresh, too medicinal, too sterile. And if I'm ever to go down the more morbid train of thought, I'd say the air smells a little like blood and death if one pays closer attention. It's not entirely terrible in and of itself, just that the scent alone is enough to bring about old memories, mostly unpleasant. I'm not saying the recent birth of my niece is one, of course. That has been a good milestone for me and my sister's family. It's simply unfortunate that the disinfectant has to be everywhere for something anyone wants to commit to memory.
Did Isabella ever feel this way when she visits her father?
The same odor assaults my senses as I make my way through the corridors in search of the emergency room. Recently renovated, according to one of the guards, I asked for directions. Considering how long this place has been around, I'm not surprised they already made plans to modernize. Gotta keep up with the times, they say, especially for a place where lives are saved. I don't have time to admire the new work, though. Soon the person I'm searching for comes into view. Rebecca's sitting still on one of the few benches lining the hall, her head bowed and her shoulders rising and falling in a slow rhythm while her breathing. In a slow rhythm? Whatever. A pile of papers and various other personal effects have been arranged neatly beside her. And is that blood on those? I try to ignore the foreboding feeling it sends me as I reach her and shake her awake.
Rebecca! I'm here. Wake up.
She opens her eyes at the second tap, along with a small yawn of her own. In the hospital's bright lighting, dark circles under her eyes are more noticeable. Her voice is still rough with sleep when she greets me.
Zach, did Ash call you in?
Pretty much. Woke me up, actually. Said it was urgent. What happened?
He didn't tell you?
Not really. He just said I needed to be here. Is everything all right? It sounded pretty urgent when he called. The way that guy phrased it, I thought for sure you had gotten into an accident or something.
Rebecca shifts in her chair, smooths a hand over her face, and lets out a sigh weighted enough to fatigue as she does so.
I'm sorry, Zachary. It's just been a long night. I don't really know how I'm supposed to break this to you. Ashton should be the one doing this, but...
The guy's busy again. No worries. You could tell me anything.
No, it's Isabella.
I'm afraid I can't quite follow, ma'am.
You weren't entirely wrong. But it wasn't me, obviously. Last night, she got into an accident. A car accident. She was hurt pretty bad and they had to rush her here.
A lump has suddenly lodged itself in my throat, making it difficult to get the next words out.
How bad exactly are we talking about here, Rebecca?
Critical. But I don't know. I didn't see her myself. When I came here, she was already in the ER. Has been since last night. The doctors haven't said anything since then.
And Ash?
He's looking into the crash. He hasn't called again, but he promised to keep us updated.
He keeps getting it mixed up with Crash Bandicoot. I know he adores that game, but God, can he just focus on his work for once? Another heavy sigh comes out of her. Abruptly, she stands, starts pacing, her trembling fingers laced tightly together in front of her. She continues for a good minute, treading the hall in short, uneven steps before stopping and pressing both of her palms over her eyes, as if that alone will be enough to stave off her exhaustion.
I called her out, you know? I promised I'll treat her to dinner if she gets out of her room. I was only hoping it would cheer her up after the news. The one about her co-worker yesterday. And now, I should have just kept my mouth shut. If I did, then maybe she'd still be.
Hey, don't blame yourself. You had no idea this would happen. An accident is an accident. If there's someone you should hold responsible for this, it's that ass who ran her over. Ash will find that guy, don't worry.
I wish it were that easy. God, it's one after another, Zachary. And no one will tell me anything. I came in here asking for her, and all they said was, "She's in critical condition, ma'am." What are we supposed to do? I want to do something. I need to do something. But I can't. Not when she's still in there. Still fighting for her life.
I wish I can give her the answer she wants to hear right now. But that's always been the hardest part in circumstances like this. Always out of our control. Always out of our hands. The least I can say to her right now is, last time I did There's Nothing We Can Do. Because I assumed it would, I don't want to be like, hey, just like take a break, just calm down. And then, so I clicked There's Nothing We Can Do, and she got really mad. So we're gonna know you need to take a break. Rebecca does not move nor pull away when I lay a reassuring hand on her back and lead her to an empty seat. If things are not as bleak as they appear, I doubt she would freely accept the gesture, strong-willed as she is.
I know you're worried, Rebecca. We all are. But you have to think about yourself, too. I'll be straight with you. You look like you're a few steps away from falling over. How do you think Bella will react if she sees you like this right now?
You don't have to mince words with me. Just say I look like horse dung, Zachary. I won't be mad.
All right, ma'am. You look like you stepped and rolled in a pile of horse dung today. Not the same thing, but the way you are, there doesn't seem to be any difference.
There. Wasn't that easy? But yeah, she'll scold me. Believe me, Belle will. She whines with how bossy I am every time. But she doesn't realize how she's every bit of a mother hen as I am. Don't tell her I said that. And then maybe she'll laugh after. She never does stay mad with anyone for long.
That she does.
Except for Luke, who she should absolutely be mad at for like the rest of her life.
Or you could always offer her food.
You don't have to tell me. That has always been a last resort.
Yeah, we can go bring her some more cinnamon rolls.
It works every time.
Look at us talking like she's gone and left us.
I don't think that's the right thing to say, Zach.
I'm sure it's nothing like that. I think this is just us hoping we won't lose her.
We won't.
You sound very sure.
Well, times like this, the only thing left to do is to hope. Maybe pray for the best. But I don't want to believe those guys inside aren't doing the best they can to save her. They have to be if they've been at it for hours. And Isabella's, you know how she is.
Maybe she'll join the ghost squad with the letter ghosts. they could be best friends. You know, hang out, chill for a while. It'd be fun.
She's stubborn. I think that's a good thing.
That could actually be like a fun, I guess, in-universe sitcom. Where it's just, you know, Isabella, a normal girl with, you know, how do I phrase this? Isabella, a house seller. What's it called? A real estate agent. A real estate agent with a big family back at home trying to earn money for her dad and a ghost that is evil and appeals to both foot fetishists and gore fetishists alike. What kind of wacky hijinks will they get into?
I want to believe she'll make it through because of that alone. I'm a mess, aren't I? One unfortunate incident, and I'm all ready to give up hope. Can't even keep myself together when nothing final has been said yet.
We all are. A mess, I mean, in more ways than one.
We let the silence fall and the words hang between us, because the truth in those feels more tangible than the little hope we're both clinging to. Somewhere far off the hall, I could almost hear a faint beeping of machines. Which one is Isabel's, I wonder? How is she doing? How long are we supposed to wait? Will she pull through? But it's always the waiting, ain't it? More than the fretting, it is always the long, excruciating hours that follow, blurring everything in between and slowing it down. By the point you both drink our third cup of coffee, we've already lost track of the seconds, the minutes we've spent sitting here. There's no idle chatter between us, only companionship, and what little support we could give each other. Which is not much, considering how long the two of us have known each other. Better for Ash to be here instead of me, or Isabella, if only she didn't have a different battle to fight right now. She's beating up the ghost in her mind. You know, it happens. Then again, we won't be here if she ain't. When a door finally creaks open and a voice calls for us, none of the words shifts back into focus the way I'm expecting it would. It's Rebecca who handles it, with much patience and tact while I sit on the sides. It is her who faces the nurse, who listens to him, who nods and wordlessly follows when he gestures for us to do so, all in spite of the weariness beating her down. A different kind of burden now, after that talk. I'm almost too afraid to ask. Aw. Isabella. You know, I didn't expect to really, grow to care about these characters. I was always just kind of like, oh, I'm here to be spooked, but, I mean, at least I care about everybody except for Luke, so, damn. She'd love this room. The moment the nurse opened the door and the soft late morning sunlight greets us from the sole window, I know she would. It might be a little inappropriate to think about now, but if she's well, Isabella will say the same thing. She has, after all, always favored the sun. Reminds her of her little home, she said. Reminds me of a little of her, too, to be frank. Yeah, she has a sunny personality. In the background, the heart monitor blips faintly in a steady rhythm. Kind of sounds a little bit like hit or miss, which is a little inappropriate considering the setting. She's not an easy sight to see, covered in bandages, a thick cast on her leg and neck, with all these wires and tubes attached to her. She looks nothing but frail like this. And still. Too still. She's never still. And yet here she is, her breathing too quiet for comfort, even as the ventilator pumps oxygen into her.
They have to keep monitoring her.
But she's okay now? We'll just have to wait?
Not exactly. She isn't out of the woods yet.
But alive, right? I mean, she's here. Even with all this stuff attached to her, she's gonna be fine, yeah?
She lets out a breath, probably the 13th one since I joined her here, and flops unceremoniously on a nearby chair. Carefully, she reaches up and gives Isabella's bandaged hand a light squeeze. Orange juice pours out. Just like those freshly squeezed Georgia... wait, those are peaches. I was gonna say Georgia peaches. Like those freshly squeezed Florida oranges. Hi, I'm Stormy, CEO of Orange. Of Citrus R Us. And I built this company from the ground up just to sell orange juice, a drink I don't even like. I'm sorry, get back to Seriousville. Not Florida, where I get these homegrown oranges from. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's meant to be an encouragement for the patient or her. But for all her hesitance, I'm glad it's Rebecca who has to break whatever this news is. If this is Ashton, If this is Ashton, he'd drop that without any sort of preamble. For a detective looking to get answers, it works. For people waiting on the edge, it doesn't always.
I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. The doctors, they had to put her in an induced coma. They had to after the seizures.
Oh, God.
It wasn't looking good. Something about the trauma and the head injury from the accident did that. I know I should have listened better. I'm sorry, Zachary. Half of it didn't even sink in. All I understood was she's on life support now, but they aren't expecting her to make it. Her chances aren't good from the start.
They can't just say that. They don't know her. I'll talk to them. They'll see reason if I just...
I did, all right? Already did. I told them to get their asses together. Even made them promise to try.
But you mentioned they still have to monitor her. That means they haven't given up on her, right?
They haven't. I insisted. But with how things are, they said she might never wake up. And if she ever does, she might not be the same anymore. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I was angry when I told them that, and it just came out of my mouth. Maybe they're right. Maybe I should have just let them...
You did the right thing, Rebecca.
You don't know that. What if she doesn't want this?
Maybe she wouldn't, but I know what she'd really like is, a glass of fresh orange juice from Florida. Hi, I'm Stormy, CEO of Citrus R Us. Do you like drinking orange juice with your breakfast? I don't, because I hate orange juice, but this is the right place. Like Isabella here, orange juice is the greatest. It's bright, it's sunny, it's lovable, just like Isabella. I shouldn't joke about like her needing vitamins to wake up, because like being in a coma is a serious thing, and I'm really sorry. This moment was a lot more sad in the original one, because I was genuinely like, oh my god, and oh no, because I care. But now I'm just kind of like, haha, humor to cove. Oh my god. Okay, I'll serious up. Okay.
Do you see all of these? Wires and tubes and bandages everywhere. She's barely herself, clinging to dear life as it is. She can't even hear us. Doesn't even know there are people here worried sick for her.
The point is she's still here. Don't beat yourself up over what ifs. This ain't over for her, alright? I've seen people recover from even worse. Have some faith in her.
I do have faith in her.
You know what? I think this is just a lack of sleep talking. You been here since when? Last night? Go get some rest, Miss Gales.
But Isabella's...
I'll take care of her, don't you worry. We can do shifts if you want.
Don't worry, I brought my orange juice.
But go home first. We'll talk about that later when you ain't looking like you're about to fall apart. If you keep going like this, you're the one who'll end up here next.
The rebuttal I'm expecting from her, for even suggesting the idea doesn't come. To my surprise, she merely chuckles.
This feels like a conversation I had with Isabella a few days ago. I said the exact same thing to her.
Then maybe it's a sign you should rest. Let me take over from now.
Maybe. But I'll keep that in mind. Are you sure you'll be fine alone? I'll come back this evening. So if you need anything picked up, I can get it for you.
Nah, no problem on that front. Besides, if I do need something, my apartment's just a few blocks away. Skip and a hop, that's all I need. Focus on getting some sleep. Let me take care of this for a few hours. Do it for everyone's sake,
Will do. Thanks, Zachary. If something changes with her, promise me you'll call.
You'll be the first one to know, ma'am. Well, if it comes to that. I hope the news I bring will be better than the one we got this morning. Crazy thing having to wake up to this.
I hope so too. I'll see you later.
Rebecca manages a weak smile before turning and heading out of the room. But when the door clicks shut behind her, it does so with a little finality. Like saying this won't be the last, that our stay here won't be as brief as we're all hoping. Besides me, the beeping from the machines remains unceasing, and the smell of oranges is just penetrates the thick tension and air between us. The distinct familiar scent of oranges! This distinct familiar scent pervades the room, persisting as it wraps itself into the room's only occupants. Me, Isabella, this delicious, beautiful orange that I can't seem to get enough of, and he rubs it against his face. It's just beautiful. Altogether, a different memory burns itself in my mind. There's something personal in the melody, slowly threading itself into my consciousness. A hum, pleasant in every note, lingers in the air and carries with every shift. It reminds me of our room, of a little place my sister and I once called home, of a promise made several springs ago, back when our walls are bare and everything's still foreign and new. The soft rustling wakes me long before I can fully remember. Someone is speaking in the room. In hushed whispers, muttering the words like a secret not meant for my ears to hear.
This is stupid.
It takes a little while for the recognition to sink in, and I remind myself where I am. Hey, Ash. Hey, buddy, do you need an orange? Anyway, this is exactly where I stopped last time, so I'm stopping it here again. We did it, folks. I can finally be surprised about things next episode again, and I really miss it, let me tell you. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and joining me on this orange adventure. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And goodbye.